Hello everyone, welcome to Aptly Place Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial would be discussed in this session. Let's get started with today's topic list. Today is 15th of September. The first topic is Covaxin may get WHO approval soon. Second, India and Singapore to link fast payment system. This is something which would increase and the level of payment system which actually exists globally. Third, GST Council to decide on petrol and diesel, whether it should be included or not. Second last, PM to visit US for Quad Summit. He'll be also addressing UNGA. And the last is ease of democracy. This is an editorial from Indian Express that gives a very good insight about India's performance in global parameters. So this is today's topic list. Apart from this, there would be some MCQ based questions, और ये जो questions होंगे ये current affairs के होंगे that will help you in the upcoming prelims examination. So stay tuned till end of this video so that you can practice some important questions. And those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Aptly Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. So we'll start a session with the first news of the day, that is Covaxin may get WHO approval soon. Something which is important for your general studies paper 2, issues related to development and management of health. So what was decided by WHO, the World Health Organization, उन्होंने decide किया है कि वो decision लेंगे where they would be granting emergency use listing, इसको हम कहते हैं EUL. They would be providing EUL to an indigenous vaccine which was developed in India, which is named as Covaxin, right? India में अभी 3 वैक्सीन है जो कि एडमिनिस्टर की जा रही है फॉर द सिटीजन. फर्स्ट इज कोवैक्सीन, जो दूसरी है दैट इज कोविशील्ड, उसके बाद स्पुतनिक वी, राइट? दीज आर 3 इंपॉर्टेंट वैक्सीन्स दैट इज बीइंग एडमिनिस्टर्ड इन इंडिया. तो कोवैक्सीन को इस वीक के आसपास इमरजेंसी यूज लिस्टिंग में WHO डिसीजन देगी, उसको ग्रांट करेगी परमिशन. एंड this decision would, this approval would be an international recognition for safety and efficacy of the vaccine. तो सबसे बड़ी इसकी एडवांटेज ये है, बहुत सारे ऐसे कंट्रीज है जिन्होंने कोवैक्सीन को एज अ इंटरनेशनल रिकॉग्निशंस नहीं दिए. नाउ आफ्टर दिस इट वुड गेट एन इंटरनेशनल रिकॉग्निशंस. उसकी सेफ्टी और एफिकेसी जो है दैट वुड बी इंश्योर्ड बाय एंड वुड बी गारंटेड बाय द WHO. सो दिस इज द एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस EUL. And Covaxin is the first indigenous vaccines in India to receive EUA from 14 countries and other 15 the process, right? So achievement for indigenous developed vaccine, and mostly the people, the passengers who are traveling to other countries would definitely be easily traveling to the other countries, right? So this is the advantages of an EUL listings. WHO की अप्रूवल प्रोसीजर्स की अगर बात करें, सो दे हैव सम प्रोसेस एंड सम नॉर्म्स दैट हैज टू बी फुलफिल्ड बिफोर दे एक्चुअली गेट अप्रूव्ड. So WHO approval procedures for a vaccine consist of 4 important steps. यहाँ पे 4 important steps हैं जो follow किए जाते हैं. First is the acceptance of manufacturer expressions of interest, जो EOI होती है उसके इसको देखा जाता है. This is a pre-submissions meeting between the WHO members and the manufacturers. तो कोवैक्सीन के केस में भारत बायोटेक एंड WHO दे वुड, जो भारत बायोटेक है ये सबमिट करेगी अपनी EOI को. सो दे वुड सबमिट द एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एंड अकॉर्डिंगली WHO would decide that whether they should approve it or not. Now the second is the acceptance of dossier for the evaluations by the WHO. This is the second procedures in the approval terms. The third is decision on the status of assessment. And the last is once all these 3 criteria are met properly, final approval is being given. So India has already, the Covaxin has already completed this 3 stage. Anyway, within a week, we can expect that the final approval has been given to the Covaxin. Advantages of WHO approval, as I have told you in the beginning, ये जो emergency use approval होगी, it's likely to encourage countries to import Covaxin, right? So the first and foremost advantage is that the import would be promoted. Second, it would facilitate its manufacturing abroad. right? Although it is being exported and exported to other countries also, but it would facilitate more manufacturing, right? And ease for traveler those who are vaccinated with the Covaxin developed by Bharat Biotech, a completely indigenous vaccine in the country. Now, the second news that India, Singapore to link fast payment system. This is something which is important for general studies paper 2, effect of policies and politics for the developed and developing countries. So recently जो apex बैंक है इंडिया की जो सेंट्रल बैंक है that is RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, it's called MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, they have decided to link a project for a payment system, right? तो एक बहुत ही बड़ी एग्रीमेंट की जा रही है between India and Singapore. This is regarding the unified payment system and pay now, right? India में UPI use करते हैं. This is being handled by the NPCI. I will tell you the verticals of NPCI, why it is called an umbrella organization. We'll discuss that on the later part of the video. So India में UPI और खास करके जो सिंगापुर की अगर बात करें वहाँ पे पे नाउ है. This will facilitate the instant, low cost and cross border fund transfer. Still, if you want to transfer a money, there's a process that has to evolve. There's a tax that you have to pay to the other part. So अभी भी process उतनी easy नहीं है, अभी भी लोगों के लिए complex है. Once the UPI and other payment system would be integrated, it would be more easy. It would be just a click away to transfer the money. And the linkage is expected to be operationalized by July 2022. So it will take another year to completely start this process. Now, क्या क्या benefits होंगे इस linkages के? So as I told you, UPI is from India and Pay Now is from Singapore. So this would enable the users to each for a two fast payment system which can be done instantly at low cost fund on the reciprocal basis without need to get unbroadened into the other payment system. So they do not need to integrate with multiple channel partner. Instead, directly between the UPI and Pay Now, the payment can be made and the amount can be transferred to the beneficiaries. UPI की बात करें, UPI is also Indian prawn. This is like Indian mobile based fast payment system. जितने भी आप gateway use करते हो ना, you use Google Pay, right? Google Pay is there in India. We have Phone Pay, right? So these things are there which facilitate the UPI and the customer round the clock payment system instantly virtual mode पे काफी ज़्यादा easy तरीके से आप money transfer कर सकते हैं. Now the PayU is the fastest payment system in Singapore that enable peer-to-peer fund transfer services. So let's see, this is a report from the RBI. I've taken this picture from the RBI report. So it says that India's payment system, how it has evolved over the time. So there's two categorization between 2010 and 2020. So this is a time span of 10 years and it shows that how much changes had been made in this 10 years. So you can see initially during 2010, the payment system was RTGS, ECS, NEFT, MICR clearing cards. So these were some of the major payment system. But now what you see, there's a NACH, there's IMPS, UPI, NETC, RuPay, there's other PPI. All level of advancement has been done in India's payment system. So make sure you are aware of this. A simple knowledge can also help you to eliminate the question in prelims, right? So it is very important that you broaden your knowledge and use that knowledge when you appear for the prelims examination. So this is about India's payment system. Now, as I've told you, I will tell you about the NPCI. So NPCI is an umbrella organization for all retail payment in the country. It's a very, very important body when it's come to the payment and settlement. आप जितनी भी payment करते हैं online, that is being settled by the body called NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. Make sure आप इसके official page पे जा करके इसके बारे में पढ़ लें. Any question can be framed, right? So it was incorporated in the year 2008. And if you talk how does it work, presently जो 56 बैंक के shareholder हैं, they are basically working with the NPCI verticals. we have 10 regional rural banks, 7 multi-sector cooperative banks, 3 foreign banks, private sectors bank, and 19 public sector banks that are integrated with the NPCI framework or working, right? Now, GST Council to decide on petrol and diesel. This was something which was long been demanded, and even the Kerala High Court has given some decision. We'll discuss everything in detail. So, this is something which is important for General Studies Paper 3, inclusive growth and issues arising from it. So, the GST Council, which is being headed by the Union Finance Minister, UPSC has already asked the compositions about the GST Council in the year 2016, right? So यहाँ पे बताई गई है जो जीएसटी काउंसिल है वो कंसिडर करेगी whether to tax petrol, diesel and other petroleum product under the single national GST regime, right? Initially they were not the part of it. I will tell you in detail. The move that may require huge compromises both by the center and the state government, because ये एक बहुत ही बड़ी revenue collections है both for the central government as well as for the state governments. Now we have some directive coming from the Kerala High Court. तो Kerala High Court ने यहाँ पे decision in June they said, Kerala High Court has said on a read petition, they were hearing a read petition, and it was said to the government that GST Council to decide bringing petroleum and diesel within the goods and services tax ambit, right? So if you quote an example in the mains paper, make sure you write about the Kerala High Court directives. And GST is being a solutions to the problem जहाँ पे बहुत सारे important चीज़ों को include की गई है. Even if you talk, it would end the cascading effect of tax on tax, चाहे वो state VAT की बात की जाए और भी जो प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट है उसको मर्ज की दी थी विद द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द जीएसटी. Now, when a nation when it was announced that GST would be subsumed with the central taxes and excise duty and state levy taxes like VAT, GST come into action in 2017, right? But उस टाइम पे जब GST को लाया गया था, when it was introduced, कुछ ऐसे products थे, 5 important petroleum products that were not the part of it, right? That include petroleum, diesel, aviation turbine, fuels, natural gases and crude oil. Initially, when GST was introduced in the country, ये उसके part नहीं थे. They were kept out preview for the time being. Now, this is why this was done, because it's something which has both central and state government finances relied heavily on the taxes on this product. क्योंकि जो tax लगती है इन products पे, उन पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा revenue generate होती है states के लिए भी और central governments के लिए भी. So petroleum products की revenue की अगर बात करें, currently the petroleum products accounts for a revenue worth 2.5 lakh crore rupees to the states. So you can see the value, it's a huge amount, right? And states would lose up to 50% of the revenue if the petroleum products were brought under the ambit of GST. So we have to see how the states is going to respond. The BJP-led government would definitely support it, but major state which is not by the ruling party, I don't feel that they would be allowing this to happen, right? This is something milestone hurdle that government has to pass, right? And it may be noted that the duty on petroleum products accounts for 85% of the total central excise. Central excise की बात करें, this collection is from the petroleum and diesel that increased to 3,34,300 in 1920 and 1,72,000 crore in 2019-20. So this is a figure. These figures are not important for you. Just to give you a brief idea, I have quoted this. Similarly, the VAT went up to 1,60,500 crores in 2014-15. It rose up to 2,21,000 crore in 1920. Right, so this is about the petroleum products and the revenue that is being generated from it. Now, the Prime Minister to visit US for Quad Summit. This is something which is important for General Studies Paper 2, bilateral regional grouping and agreement evolving India's and affecting India's interest. So the Prime Minister of India is scheduled to visit United States on September 24 to participate in the Quad Summit that would be hosted by the US President Joe Biden, right? तो ये जो बेसिकली एड्रेस होने वाली है, दिस इज फर्स्ट इन पर्सन मीटिंग इन द वाइट हाउस इन द प्रेसिडेंशियल पैलेस ऑफ द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, क्योंकि कोविड के बाद इस तरह की मीटिंग इन पर्सन मीटिंग अभी तक नहीं हुई है. सो दिस वुड बी द फर्स्ट मीटिंग. The Prime Minister will also address the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly. जो UNGA की जो 76th session है उसको भी Prime Minister address करेंगे. So this number is important, which is like what session is going on, not for UPSC, for other examinations. Now, vaccine initiative is again something which is very important. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, उन्होंने कहा है कि क्वाड के जो मेंबर कंट्रीज हैं, लेट मी नो which among the members of the quad countries. I have lot many times discussed about the quad members. So if you know, write that in the comment section down below. So this was the kind of revision that you need to do while we discuss the news. So यहाँ पे बताई गई है कि कुछ important जो बातें हैं उस पर डिस्कशन होनी है quad members की, that include the vaccine initiatives, and it will review the quad vaccine initiative, a platform जहाँ पे इंडिया के जो manufacturers हैं उन्होंने प्रॉमिस किया कि 1 बिलियन कोविड-19 वैक्सीन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट की जाएगी इन एशिया बाय द एंड ऑफ 2022. नाउ other important issues that is basically listed on the agenda. So the leader will also exchange the view on contemporary global issues. कौन कौन से global issues हैं जिन पर डिस्कशन होनी है इस मीटिंग में? The first include critical and emergency technologies, connectivity and infrastructure, cyber security, maritime security, which India has been long advocating for. They have also called for this in the United Nations Security Council, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, climate change, and education. Right. So these are some of the important issues that is going to be the part of the discussion, and definitely Afghanistan is something which is a point of interest. So Indo-Pacific की अगर बात करें, इंडो स्पेसिफिक विजन्स में यूएस ने भी अपनी इंटरेस्ट दिखाई है, बिकॉज दिस कॉल फॉर equality in the Indo-Pacific region. So this summit would value an opportunity for the dialogue and interaction among the leaders, where they will share जहाँ पे free, open और inclusive Indo-Pacific region को treat किया जाए. It should not be dominated by China, right? This is what all country has been looking forward with. And US has also referred the discussion around promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific. मार्च में भी समिट हुई थी जहाँ पे ये कहा गया था कि चाइना के जो असर्टिवनेस है इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन में उसे कम करने की जरूरत है. एंड दिस डिस्कशन, दिस मीटिंग विल डेफिनेटली प्रेशर चाइना टू नॉट टू डोमिनेट दैट पर्टिकुलर रीजन. और उसके अलावा जो अफगानिस्तान की इश्यूज है, वी हैव सीन द तालिबान ओवरटेकिंग द गवर्नमेंट, दैट वुड बी ऑल्सो अ पॉइंट ऑफ कंसर्न दैट वुड बी डिस्कस्ड इन दिस मीटिंग. Now the other news, or you can say the editorial, Ease of Democracy, a brilliant editorial written by Mr. S.Y. Qureshi. He is a former Chief Election Commissioner. So this is something which is important for General Studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors, right? So you definitely need to focus on this type of editorial. What happens, like when you appear for the paper, not all the editorial that you read will help you. But what we used to do in this initiative is try to focus on the most important relevant editorial that can help you both in prelims and mains examination. So this is a kind of editorial that will help. So let's understand in detail what Mr. Qureshi has to say about ease of democracy in the country. So what are the issues that I'll be discussing with you under this? There are 5 important subheads. First is the background, factors of India's performance, parameters of democracy index, other important reports, and the bottom line. So इस पूरी एडिटोरियल की थीम है इंडिया की क्या परफॉर्मेंस है कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट ग्लोबल इंडिकेटर्स पे, राइट? सो लेट अंडरस्टैंड इन डिटेल. लेटेस्ट फ्रीडम हाउस इंडेक्स विच वाज रिलीज्ड बाय द फ्रीडम हाउस 2021 के लिए रिलीज की गई थी, और इन्होंने इंडिया की जो रैंकिंग है 4th पोजीशन डिग्रेड की है. फ्रॉम 71 द इंडिया पोजीशन इज 67 in terms of freedom house index, right? A setback for country like India. तो past few years में ये देखा गया है, it's not been good that India democracy, जो वर्ल्ड की सबसे लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी है, उसकी रैंकिंग बहुत सारे पैरामीटर्स पे डिग्रेड हुई है, डाउनग्रेड हुई है, राइट? सो इट इज द परफॉर्मेंस पुअरली, जहाँ पे ग्लोबल पैरामीटर्स आई विल टेल यू ऑल important global ranking where India has not performed well. We'll see everything one by one. Now, VDEM की अगर बात करें, वर्ल्ड की renowned think tank है from Sweden, they have also downgraded the ranking of India, right? And it label India as an electoral autocracy. So if you're writing a essay, you can definitely quote this type of points. So electoral autocracy कहा है VDEM, जो कि एक renowned think tank है स्वीडन से. Even the economist intelligence unit EIU जो है, they have shown India's score dropping from 7.92 in 2014 to 6.61 in 2020. So we were expected to increase that, but unfortunately the performance is degrading. Now, factors for India performance, क्या क्या ऐसे कारण हैं जिस वजह से इंडिया की जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो इतनी ज़्यादा खराब हुई है. So country has seen increased pressure that has put human right organization and other civil right groups by the government. They were not adequately given freedom to perform, right? Even the journalists, the activists were intimidated and imprisoned. आपने देखा होगा कई ऐसे जर्नलिस्ट हैं जिन पे सेडिशंस की चार्जेस लगाई गई. No, and even I will tell you the rate of sedition which has increased. If you see, the sedition in the country has increased by 165%. जो freedom of speech and expression है, फंडामेंटल राइट में जो ऑलरेडी पावर दी गई है हर एक इंडिविजुअल को, उसमें राइज देखी गई है 165% फ्रॉम 2016 to 2019. So the sedition charges has increased by how many percent? By 165%, right? So this is an important factual point. Even what are the other factors that has led to the degradation of performance of India? यहाँ पे minorities को काफ़ी ज़्यादा टारगेट की गई है, ऐसा कहना है इंटरनेशनल रिपोर्ट्स में. Hate and polarized are rampant. No, this is something which is rampant in the entire country. And even the Amnesty International को उन्होंने अपनी जितने भी activities हैं वो इंडिया में halt कर दिया. So this shows that definitely the country is not in a good conditions. The global parameters, the ambience which is being called by the global reports is something is on the negative side, right? EU की जो डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स रिपोर्ट है ना, जो इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट है, इकोनॉमिक्स इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट, उनके मुताबिक कंट्रोवर्सी अराइजेज इंडियाज वांटिंग स्टेटस ऑन द डेमोक्रेसी. खास करके इस रिपोर्ट को जब ईयू ने पब्लिश किया था तो इंडिया ने इस रिपोर्ट को चैलेंज किया था. द रिपोर्ट स्पार्क द आउटरीच बिटवीन द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एंड दे साउट टू चैलेंज द रेटिंग. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने चैलेंज किया. इवन कुछ इंडियन ऑफिशियल्स थे जिनको वापस से भेजा गया उनके हेड ऑफिस पे लंदन में, where they clarified that this report is something which is not under the spirit of government of India working. So they tried to defend it, but these are the independent reporters, they are independent researcher, they are now not bound by any government. So definitely they will report what is actually the finding, right? They cannot be dominated by any government or any sort of things. So this is what has actually happened when the EIU डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स रिपोर्ट वाज रिलीज्ड. नाउ पैरामीटर्स की अगर बात करें, जो डेमोक्रेसी इंडेक्स है उसके कुछ पैरामीटर्स हैं. विद वेटेड एवरेज होती है. 60 क्वेश्चंस वर बेस्ड ऑन 5 पैरामीटर्स. फर्स्ट इज इलेक्टोरल प्रोसेस एंड प्लुरलिज्म. किस तरह से इलेक्टोरल प्रोसेस है, प्लुरलिज्म की क्या बेसिकली स्टेटस है कंट्री में, दैट इज वन. थर्ड, सेकंड इज द फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. हाउ डज द गवर्नमेंट एक्चुअली फंक्शंस. पॉलिटिकल पार्टिसिपेशंस कितनी है, पॉलिटिकल कल्चर क्या है कंट्री में, एंड इवन द सिविल लिबर्टीज विच इज बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड to the citizen of this country. So these are some of the important parameters, 5 important parameters upon which the democracy index is being evaluated. Now कुछ और important reports की अगर बात करें, so the reporters without borders जिन्होंने press freedom report को रिलीज किया, they have ranked India 167 out of 183 countries, which is not good. इससे अच्छी और हमारे जो एशियन में और जो कंट्रीज हैं उनकी परफॉर्मेंस भी इंडिया से काफ़ी अच्छी है. सो दिस इज अ ग्रेट सेटबैक एंड नेगेटिव टेम्परामेंट विच इज सेट. फ्रीडम हाउस की बात करें, दे हैव स्कोर्ड इंडिया 2 out of 4 इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रेस फ्रीडम, राइट. और इन्होंने कहा कि जो इंडिया की प्रेस है वो पार्टली फ्री है. वी हैव सीन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिबेट गोइंग इन मीडिया. People used to say that some media are pro-government, some are anti-government, some are leftist, some are rightist, some are centrist. But definitely we have to accept the fact that yes, media has been curtailed, their right has been curtailed. Right? And EIU has reportedly inserted that the incidents like shutdown of Kashmir in 2019, the Citizenship Amendment Act that has the uproar both in Delhi and other parts of the country, these have definitely led to the demotions of the ranking globally. Now, bottom line kya hai? Conclusion, how you, what sort of, no, basically the nutshell, what you can say that it appears that the media report and concerns about the unflattering EIU की जो data has that range from the government और 2 years ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, ये बहुत ही important parameters पे check करते हैं government की functioning को, and the report actually what is happening, right? So the government moved to monitor the indices and work on improving the ranking has to go, they have to improve, and the government seriously need to think upon all the important, not only about the EIU but all other reports also that ranks India below average. एंड द डिज़ायर टू इंट्रोस्पेक्ट, हमें ज़रूरी है कि हम चीज़ों को इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करें, एनालाइज करें, वेयर वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव एंड करेक्ट, दिस वुड बी समथिंग दैट वुड बी लॉडेबल. द गवर्नमेंट ओनली नीड नॉट नेसेसरली नीड टू डिफेंड देमसेल्फ, दे हैव टू एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट. ये ज़रूरी है कि सरकार इस चीज़ को एक्सेप्ट करे और बोले कि ठीक है, अगर कोई चीज़ें खराब हुई है, इफ समथिंग इज नॉट वर्किंग इन इंडिया, विल ट्राई टू इम्प्रूव दैट. Intentionally they should not defend everything. No, see, every individual is not perfect, and even no government in India, from time being since independence was perfect. Everything has a balance and imbalances, but we need to have a positive gestures to work upon it, right, to improve that. और नीति आयोग और जितने भी कंसर्न ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, इनको एक टास्क दिया जाना चाहिए. दे शुड फोकस ऑन और इम्प्रूविंग आवर परफॉर्मेंस एंड डिक्लाइनिंग रैंकिंग एंड अदर इंडिकेटर्स. वी हैव थिंक टैंक लाइक नीति आयोग और भी कुछ ऐसे इंपॉर्टेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं इंटरनली गवर्नमेंट के लिए जो काम करते हैं. उनके लिए ये सबसे बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हो कि वो हमारे जो ग्लोबल लेवल पे स्टैंडर्ड्स है, जो रैंकिंग है, उसको किस तरह से इम्प्रूव की जाए, वो गवर्नमेंट को एडवाइस करें, एंड दे शुड वर्क अपॉन इट, राइट. So this is how the bottom line, the conclusion can be there about the democracy problem that are existing. Now let's see the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. So for the first question, the correct option is B. For the second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ about the Maitri Setu project. Maitri symbolizes the bilateral relationship between India and Sri Lanka. The project is being taken care by the Land Port Authority of India. So if you're reading current affairs, if you're thorough with the current affairs, this would be a cakewalk for you and you can easily answer that. So let me know how many of you know the correct answer. Second, the joint military exercise Dust Lake 2 is between which among the following countries? India and Sri Lanka, India, Japan and Russia, India and Afghanistan, India and Uzbekistan. So this is something also important. Mostly UPSC tend to ask this type of question in prelims. So this would be easy, a revision for you. If you know, do let me know. Write your answer in the comment section down. So this was all about the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much for listening.